Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. This is Jim Reads Too Slow, and I'm Jim. I'm going to do a book haul video today. Notice a lot of people on BookTube are doing these or finishing them up. End of the year, end of 2021 book haul. So first of all, I want to wish everybody a happy Hot Toddy Day. Good for what ails you. The wife and I accompanied my mother-in-law to keep her company on her drive to Phoenix recently. She likes to pace herself, my mother-in-law does. So we took our sweet time about it on the drive, but the weather was beautiful the whole way. We left here on December 25th, bright and early. Arrived in Liberal, Kansas about 5:30 that evening, where I finished reading Evelyn Waugh's The Loved One and started reading Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. The next night we made it to Deming, New Mexico, about the same time of night. And finally we arrived in Phoenix on December 27th, where we rested up a bit at a motel in the stabby part of town. And then we hit the nearest half-price books. So I'll get started with the half-price book haul. I have something of a Willa Cather collection, so we picked this up. Oh man, a little glare. Death Comes for the Archbishop. Willa Cather, of course, is an author claimed by Nebraska. Whether or not that's how she ended it up is a matter for debate. And then the next one, my wife has been looking out for these. Simenon, McGray Takes a Room. You can probably see right up here underneath my little pig, we've got 6 McGray volumes, or Simenon volumes up there. This will join them. Some nice Belgian themed, or not themed, but anyway, some nice mysteries. This next one was kind of the prize of my trip to half-price books. I've been looking for a Ballad of the Sad Cafe for quite a while. I had Carson McCullers' The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I've been looking for some other of her works, and this was a nice find. It's got Ballad of the Sad Cafe and Other Stories, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, of course, and The Member of the Wedding. I'm developing something of a Southern Gothic collection. Started with Faulkner, and right now we're doing Flannery O'January, so I got several of her books too. And then finally we got Ethan Frome, Edith Wharton, which I realized once I got home I already had a copy of this in a Barnes & Noble edition, but now we got 2. One for me and one for my wife. So anyway, on the 28th of December, we were still in Phoenix. I finished Project Hail Mary, and then we visited a couple of Goodwills. So I'll show you what I got there. Like I said, we're reading some Flannery O'Connor. So I got this. Flannery O'Connor, Spiritual Writings, edited by Robert Ellsberg. This has helped me out a little bit already with some of the reading I've done. A lot of letters, some of her feelings about things, and comments on some of the things that she's written. And then Daphne du Maurier's My Cousin Rachel. Kind of got into her a little bit last year during March Mystery Madness when I read Rebecca. My wife's been looking for this one. She was just about ready to buy one new when we said, well, let's see what we can find. And the Goodwills paid off. Okay, This one we also got at a Phoenix Goodwill, Daisy Miller, and Washington Square by Henry James. So we're getting into some of that stuff. Henry James. Leo Tolstoy, Resurrection. Happy to have this one. And then rounding out my Russian literature purchases from Phoenix, this one, Ivan Turgenev, Father and Sons. I was really excited to get this book. I've seen several booktube videos about it. I'm really excited to read it. So, okay, that was Phoenix. Stage 2 of our whirlwind tour of the Great West took us to my wife and I. We left the mother-in-law in Phoenix with the books that we got there. And we boarded a plane for Portland, Oregon, to spend a day or two with our son, our daughter-in-law, and our 2 grandpuppies, Walter and Harry, and do some books and some bourbon tasting. So, my son picked us up at the airport. We hit the Portland neighborhoods, found his house, and then he presented me with a box of books that he had been saving up for me. And they include this one right here, That City, by Leonard Gardner. Just finished this past weekend. Started it during the Bookish Bryant's 24-hour readathon, and got all but probably 10 or 15 pages done. Had some things come up on Saturday, had to do some running around town. Finished it on Sunday. Very gritty, very spare. Gardner does not waste any words. There are no superfluous sentences. This is bare bones. There's a lot in this book. It's a very, very thin volume, but it's a really good story, really big story. It's been described, somebody described it as like a Tom Waits album. If you like Tom Waits, you'll like this book. I like Tom Waits. I like this book. I highly recommend it. Very gritty. And then Arthur Conan Doyle's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes and the Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. Nice little Penguin Classic edition. T.E. Lawrence's 7 Pillars of Wisdom. My son felt that I needed to read this, so I guess I will. And the Steinbeck Centennial edition of East of Eden. I've been looking for this one in this edition. I have the same edition of the Grapes of Wrath, which they'll make a nice, they'll look good on the bookcase. And Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steel. A Pulitzer Prize winner. I know very little about this book, but just thumbing through it, looks really interesting. So I'll be dipping into this sometime. Okay. Now, you folks on YouTube, you keep showing off your thrift store finds, and I never really believed it based on the quality of the thrift stores that we find here, especially our own local Goodwill stores. We have several here in town, but now I can believe it now. There are tons of books that I saw that I wanted, a couple that I'm still kicking myself for not getting. But, you know, we had to borrow an extra suitcase as it was just for books. So next we have our thrift store buys from Portland, including this one right here, which I'm reading now as part of Flannery O. January. Good Man is Hard to Find, and Other Stories. This found it at just the right time, and I'm enjoying it. Okay. I'm developing something of a Gabriel Garcia Marquez collection, and this is a welcome addition to that, collected stories. This combines three of his short story collections in one volume. Eyes of a Blue Dog, Big Mama's Funeral, and the incredible and sad tale of innocent Arindira and her heartless grandmother. So, like I said, great addition to my my collection of his works. And then I was really glad to see this. One of the first books, my wife noticed it first. I've been seeing a lot of it on BookTube, and I figured I'd buy it and see what all the fuss is about. It looks like a good one. Self-Reliance by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Thank you, Mr. Harold Bloom. We'll see what the big deal is about this. I had never had my own copy of this book, Thomas Pynchon's Inherent Vice. Now I do. Time for a reread. The same way with this one. Confederacy of Dunces. I read this years ago. John Kennedy O'Toole's Pulitzer Prize winner. And then I lost my copy of it. So I'm glad to have another copy back. That's a book that deserves periodic rereads, so I'll be rereading it. Malcolm Lowry's Under the Volcano. Never read this, but I intend to. And Conversation in the Cathedral by Mario Vargas Llosa. Get that glare off of there. Anyway, and this and Under the Volcano, a couple of these other ones, they don't even look like they've been opened up. Got them for $2, and they're brand new. So somebody didn't appreciate what they had or what their late grandma or grandpa had when they got rid of them. So I got those going for me. And then we came back into town. We got back to Lincoln on we left Portland on January 2nd. Had a 3 or 4 hour layover in Denver and got back home about 9 o'clock. And then we decided let's hit some of the local Goodwills. We haven't been there for a while. Just, a few days later, not that night, but so I walked into the Goodwill and found this. Our friendly neighborhood Goodwill store, The Poetry of Robert Frost. Now this is, it says it's all 11 of his books complete. The dust jacket is in pretty bad shape, but the book itself, which is kind of probably the reason for the dust jacket, book itself is in excellent condition. So I've got another poetry book to add to my collection, which is steadily growing. And then last but not least, my wife got me this. She ordered it. It came the same day, I believe, as we got the Robert Frost book. I've been seeing this a lot. I've been looking for this everywhere. Have not found a used copy. Evidently, people who have this book and read it hang on to it. So now I have my own copy, and I will read it. So that's my book haul. I might just add that all these books means I probably shouldn't buy any more for a while, but we'll see how that works out. So anyway, until next time, thank you for letting me waste your time. And once again, happy Hot Toddy Day. Have a good one, BookTube.